Hello, fellow gamers! Steam Next Fest is always a massive tidal wave of demos, and if you don't have 100 hours to spare, it's easy to miss the absolute gems. I found more 25 incredible Steam Next Fest game demos that you absolutely need on your radar. Let's dive in. Corsair Cove, an ambitious pirate-themed city builder published by Hooded Horse. Instead of managing a peaceful historical village, you are tasked with turning an island into a rowdy criminal empire. What makes this stand out from standard colony sims is its aggressive focus on verticality and complex logistics. Because flat land is scarce, you will be forced to build on cliffs, utilizing a network of bridges, zip lines, and industrial contraptions to move goods across deep ravines. Managing your crew is just as tough as laying down the roads. You will have to balance intricate production chains to supply them with everything from rum and turtle soup to weapons. Once your economy is stable, you will build an armada to engage in tactical naval combat, fight off sea monsters, and push back against the forces of the Crown. ShoreTiles, a wonderfully moody and strategic tile placement game that mixes puzzle vibes of Dorfromantik with the tense, defensive anxiety of a survival roguelite. Your entire objective centers around building a thriving island economy around a single, fragile lighthouse. During the day, you carefully place hex tiles to expand your shoreline, link up resource nodes, and build defensive structures. The mechanics force you to think several steps ahead to maximize your resource generation. But when night falls, the cozy aesthetic completely evaporates as terrifying creatures rise from the dark ocean depths. The light from your lighthouse acts as your primary safe zone, making spatial management absolutely critical. It's a gloomy balancing act that rewards clever planning and punishes greedy expansion. For fans of strategy puzzles, this demo is a hidden gem. Kingdom Rush 6, Genesis, takes a nostalgic trip back to the dawn of Lineria. This prequel places you right in the middle of the early days of the kingdom, tasked with stopping a young Vesnin's corruption before it fractures the realm. It hits that perfect sweet spot of classic, tightly balanced lane management while introducing a massive change. You can now take two heroes into battle simultaneously, opening up a whole new layer of active ability synergies. The upgrade loop has also seen a serious overhaul. Instead of a generic global tech tree, every single tower, hero, and spell now features its own dedicated individual upgrade paths, allowing you to fine-tune your loadouts for specific bottlenecks. Combine that with highly interactive stage gimmicks, like tapping on structures to summon book minions or stun enemies, and the gameplay feels more engaging and active than Vengeance did. If you grew up on the classic trilogy, this demo proves the series still reigns supreme in the tower defense space. Ascenders, Beyond the Peak, a fascinating turn-based exploration roguelite that trades traditional dungeon crawling for vertical survival. Instead of knights and wizards, you manage a team of alpinists scaling cursed, sheer mountains to recover ancient artifacts. The mechanics are incredibly fresh. Every single tile vertical ascent requires you to balance gravity, stamina, and complex rope physics. You have to anchor into the rocks, manage belay lines, and ensure your climbers don't plunge into the abyss. It plays out like a tactical puzzle game where the environment itself is your primary enemy, compounded by freezing blizzards and eldritch, Lovecraftian horrors waiting in the caves. Between climbs, you manage your base camp, tend to frostbite, and upgrade your gear. DDoD, an intense top-down roguelite shooter that brilliantly mashes the fast, loot-driven pacing of Diablo with the eerie, tense atmosphere of Stalker. Dropping into the Purple Lands, a massive, anomalous industrial wasteland, your primary goal is to push through the toxic, weapon-jamming fog to locate the source. The gunplay feels incredibly snappy and tactile, heavily relying on position and sound cues since the mutated wildlife is highly noise-reactive. The enemies will absolutely shred you if you let your guard down. With up to 4 players, deep weapon customization involving elemental mods, and battery-powered protection devices to manage, the tension rarely drops. It's an engaging, atmospheric loop that keeps you guessing. Endless Rails, an isometric bullet heaven roguelite that takes weapon stacking action of Vampire Survivors and chains it to a customizable train speeding through an apocalyptic wasteland. Instead of controlling a lone hero running in circles, you are protecting a constantly moving locomotive. Your offense is handled by an array of defensive drones and automated turrets that you can physically mount onto your train cars. As you plow through massive hordes of mutated beasts, you collect scrap metal to buy new specialized wagons, upgrade your armor, and unlock devastating elemental payloads. The loop of pulling into a safe station, hastily rebuilding your mobile fortress, and heading back out into the chaos is incredibly addictive. The performance holds up even with hundreds of enemies on screen, making it an excellent pick for fans of chaotic auto shooters. GrassChopper, a strangely hypnotic action game that turns the simple chore of clearing overgrowth into an absolute dopamine machine. It is a game that knows exactly what it wants to be, a satisfying, frictionless loop of slicing through dense vegetation and watching numbers go up. You control a nimble worker armed with a scythe, carving paths through physics-based grass. Every blade chopped drops coins, which you immediately funnel back into upgrades. You can increase your swing arc, boost your movement speed, or buy specialized automatic drone mowers to help clear the field. As you cut deeper into the wilderness, the flora becomes denser, tougher, and highly surreal, offering rarer materials and massive payout bonuses. Iron Nest, Heavy Turret Simulator, a brutal dieselpunk tactical game that completely reimagines what it feels like to operate colossal war machinery. Instead of standard run-and-gun action, this places you inside a hulking, fortified artillery fortification. The gameplay loop is technical and deliberate. You receive target coordinates from high command, requiring you to actively take map measurements, calibrate your elevation, strain the heavy hydraulics, and precisely lay your massive cannons before pulling the trigger. The sheer audio-visual weight of firing these massive shells is incredibly satisfying, with smoke clearing to reveal devastating impact zones. It challenges you with resource management and split-second targeting under immense pressure. For simulation fans seeking a mechanical, tactile war experience, this demo is fantastic. Master Healer Kale with Useless Party, a brilliant RPG that puts you in the boots of the most stressed-out character in any MMO, the dedicated healer. Your party members are completely brain-dead, constantly standing in fire and taking avoidable damage, making it your sole job to keep them alive. The gameplay revolves around managing your spell cooldowns and mana pool in fast-paced, simulated raid boss fights. By surviving encounters, you earn gold and experience to invest in a massive skill tree featuring over 200 upgrades. You can unlock powerful area of effect heals, passive shields, or even buffs that trick your useless party into dealing more damage. It is explicitly designed to be a punchy 4-hour experience, avoiding the endless bloat of traditional idle games. No Such Place, a clinical and highly atmospheric top-down extraction shooter that casts you as a tactical field agent for the mysterious Unknown Research Consortium. Your job is simple but terrifying. Drop into anomalous containment zones, eliminate highly unpredictable paranormal threats, secure classified data, and successfully reach the extraction point before you are overrun. The game leans heavily into tactical precision rather than chaotic gunplay. Movement must be methodical, as sound attracts the horrors lingering in the dark, and your ammunition is strictly limited. The weapon handling feels exceptionally sharp, featuring a realistic line-of-sight system where your flashlight and laser sights are your only lifeline through the pitch-black corridors. With a deep inventory management, punishing death penalties, and incredibly tense map navigation, it perfectly translates the hardcore extraction formula into a top-down perspective. ReStory Chill Electronics Repairs, a nostalgic simulation game set in mid-2000s Tokyo. You run a repair shop, spending your days carefully restoring iconic retro electronics like brick cell phones, portable cassette players, and classic video game consoles. The repair mechanics are highly tactile and satisfying. You will use a variety of tools to unscrew casings, clean out dust, solder faulty circuits, and replace worn-out parts. But the real heart of the game lies in its storytelling. Each device belongs to a local customer, and as you fix their items, you uncover personal narratives about their lives, relationships, and memories tied to the tech. The choices you make in how you handle repairs and interact with customers subtly shape the neighborhood and your shop's future. Pathogenic, a highly inventive cellular roguelike shooter where you play as the ultimate villain, a lone, infectious disease trying to take down a human host. Instead of exploring standard fantasy dungeons, you swim through a beautifully animated, procedurally generated microscopic world inside the human body. The gunplay is fast and fluid, tasks you with dodging aggressive white blood cells and tearing through antibody defenses. What makes the loop so compelling is its biological upgrade system. As you eliminate eliminate host defenses, you harvest loose organelles to actively mutate your pathogen. You can adapt your genetic code to secrete paralyzing toxins, sprout defensive flagella, or replicate into a small swarm. It is a fantastic, high-speed, microscopic arms race that turns complex immunology into an incredibly addictive shooter. Batomon Showdown, an addictive monster battling strategy game that sheds the tedious exploration of traditional creature collectors to focus entirely on deep tactical combat and insane build synergy. Your goal is to discover and recruit hundreds of unique Batomon, assembling a squad to take down increasingly ruthless opponents. The game embraces a brilliant, open-ended approach to power scaling, actively encouraging you to break the balancing through clever training and team combinations. You can mix and match passive traits to trigger devastating chain reactions, transforming low-tier monsters into absolute juggernauts. Whether you want to slowly grind your squad to overpowered levels or test your wits against complex enemy team synergies, it respects your time and lets you play at your own exact pace. Choo Defenders, a highly frantic, on-the-rails spin on the classic tower defense genre that expertly balances peaceful resource delivery with absolute vehicular carnage. Instead of traditional static defense grids, your entire strategic footprint revolves around a custom locomotive. You actively lay down your own tracks across hazardous territory, forging routes to deliver critical cargo. However, doing so triggers waves of aggressive enemies. To survive, you must transform your train into an absolute rolling fortress, snapping together heavy automated gun wagons, shield generators, and mortar cars. The gameplay loop demands excellent multitasking. You have to navigate switches, optimize your route for maximum cargo pickups, and manually prioritize targets for your turrets. RetroSpace, a mind-bending disco-punk space horror game that feels like a brilliant mix of System Shock and a 70s sci-fi movie. You find yourself trapped on a massive space station that has been swallowed by a black hole, surrounded by grotesque, mutated creatures. The game leans heavily into the immersive sim genre, giving you incredible agency over how you handle threats. You can play it like a pure stealth game, sneaking through shadows, shooting out lights, and hacking doors, or go full action hero by injecting strange mutagens to unlock bizarre superpower abilities. It features incredibly atmospheric lighting, deep environmental storytelling, and complex level design full of shortcuts. The addition of time jumps, reality warping mechanics, and a strictly 70s aesthetic, complete with glorious mustaches, makes it one of the most stylish and unique games of the festival. Silver Pines, a survival horror that grounds its supernatural terror in the eerie, familiar setting of small-town America. You explore a town gripped by nightmarish forces, and the brilliance here lies in the genre blending. It captures the claustrophobic dread of a classic survival horror title, where every bullet and health item is a precious resource you have to hoard, yet it retains the sprawling, interconnected level design that defines a great Metroidvania. You won't just be running from monsters, you will be solving clever, environmental puzzles that unlock new paths through the town. The atmosphere is thick with a sense of isolation, pushing you to uncover dark secrets that might offer a path to redemption. Space Scum, a gritty, sci-fi, turn-based RPG that puts you in command of a ruthless band of mercenaries doing the dirtiest jobs in the galaxy. If you enjoy a tactical, squad management of XCOM, but want the moral gray areas of Darkest Dungeon, this one needs to be on your radar. You will fight your way across a variety of hostile planets, taking on brutal contracts to earn loot, credits, and advanced military equipment to gear up your crew. The combat requires precise positioning, clever use of cover, and tight ability synergies. What sets this apart is the mercenary mindset. Survival is your only true objective, meaning underhanded tactics, sacrificial play, and cutthroat choices are actively encouraged. Between firefights, you manage your crew's injuries, upgrade your ship, and deal with internal power struggles. It is a tough, satisfying tactical game wrapped in a bleak sci-fi setting. The Walking Dead: Streets of Survival, a brutal, side-scrolling arcade beat-em-up that drops you straight into the iconic universe. Reimagining the all-out war storyline, the game lets you control fan favorites like Rick Grimes, Daryl Dixon, and Michonne. The core loop focuses on crisp, responsive 2D brawling across familiar backdrops like Alexandria and the Hilltop. What makes the combat engaging is how it mixes human and undead threats. You can actually trigger environmental hazards and flip flip switches to make enemy saviors and walker swarms fight each other. Each character brings their own signature weapon to the fray, whether it's Daryl's crossbow or Michonne's katana, complete with specialized adrenaline attacks to clear out the lanes when you get cornered. It's a straightforward, satisfying throwback to classic arcade brawlers that feels great to play. Duskfade, a gorgeous and highly responsive 3D action platformer that acts as an absolute love letter to the golden era of the genre. You control Zirian, accompanied by a mechanical companion named Cuckoo, on a desperate quest to rescue his sister from a mysterious clock tower that has stopped time and plunged the land into eternal night. The platforming mechanics here feel incredibly fluid and expressive. You aren't just running and jumping. The level design actively challenges you to string together complex movement chains using wall runs, directional mid-air slashes, and a grapple hook mechanic powered by Cuckoo. The momentum carries between jumps, making navigation an absolute joy. Combat is just as snappy, blending swift aerial combos with parries to shatter enemy defenses. With its vibrant aesthetic, imaginative world design, and precise controls, it captures that pure, nostalgic platforming magic perfectly. Mortal Shell 2, the highly anticipated standalone sequel from Cold Symmetry that significantly ups the ante for the dark fantasy Souls-like franchise. Taking the unique mechanical hook of the original, possessing the unique dormant bodies of fallen warriors to completely alter your playstyle, the sequel shifts into an interconnected, compact, open world. The game completely ditches the traditional stamina bar to deliver a much faster, highly aggressive, and adrenaline-charged combat. You play as the Harbinger, navigating twisted, bone-carved citadels and cursed dungeons to hunt down false gods. The weapon design is deeper, the movement is incredibly expressive, and the tactical depth of shattering enemy posture makes it a standout power fantasy. For anyone who loved the stark, heavy atmosphere of the first game but wanted more freedom and kinetic action, this demo is a spectacular look at what's to come. Soulbound Online, a clever mashup that fuses a bullet heaven action roguelite with a massive MMORPG. In the shared pixel art hub, you can trade in a player-driven economy, build your private base, and hang out with thousands of other players. But once you enter the dungeons, the game shifts gears into chaotic survival. You can tackle these procedurally generated maps solo or up to 3 players, stacking randomized, run-warping passive abilities to melt massive raid bosses. Your class is tied entirely to your gear, allowing you to swap your playstyle between runs. Everything you loot goes right back into crafting better equipment and upgrading your home base. Trine 6, Together in Time, the gorgeous new chapter in the beloved physics-based puzzle platforming series. This time around, the developers have taken a co-op first approach, letting up to 4 players jump in locally or online via crossplay to solve brain-teasing puzzles and battle cunning fantasy creatures. The biggest addition is the expanded roster. Alongside the iconic trio of Amadeus, Zoya, and Pontius, you can now play as 2 brand new heroes, Moira the Acrobat and Adrian the Squire, each bringing fresh traversal mechanics and combat skills to the table. The game also introduces a powerful new time slow ability, giving you crucial extra control to line up precise jumps or survive chaotic boss fights. Whether you are coordinating abilities with friends or playing solo through adaptive puzzle paths, it looks like an absolute treat for fans of beautiful, cooperative fantasy adventures. XenoFeels, a space custom simulator that plays like a sci-fi twist on Papers, Please. You are stationed on a tiny, isolated asteroid where spaceships from all corners of the galaxy line up daily. Your job is to inspect the tourists, truckers, and alien travelers passing through. The pressure is immense. Hidden among the crowd are deadly terrorists, and if you let even a single one slip by your checkpoint, your entire home planet explodes. Thankfully, the interrogation process is a bit more direct here because you are armed with a shotgun. You will have to carefully cross-reference documents, spot anomalies in alien behavior, and make split-second, nerve-wracking decisions to pull the trigger or grant entry. It's a brilliant blend of tense puzzle deduction and dark comedy. Takeover 2, a high-impact, fast-paced arcade beat-em-up that serves as a massive upgrade to the beloved indie original. Heavily inspired by genre classics like Streets of Rage and Final Fight, this sequel brings incredibly refined combat mechanics and stunning upgraded visuals to the genre. Whether you take to the streets solo or team up with a partner for some chaotic couch co-op, the action is non-stop. You will unleash devastating combos, fluidly juggle enemies in the air, and make split-second use of your environment to survive brutal waves of street thugs. Backed by a brand new electronic soundtrack that perfectly syncs with every punch and kick, it is a spectacular, adrenaline-fueled love letter to all of side-scrolling brawlers. Warhammer 40,000, Boltgun 2, the explosive sequel to the hit boomer shooter that lets you once again obliterate heretics in the name of the Emperor. This time, the retro-inspired pixelated carnage is bigger and bloodier, offering expanded campaign maps and massive enemy variety. The biggest game changer is the inclusion of a second playable character. In addition to returning fan-favorite Ultramarine Malum Kaido, you can now purge the forces of chaos as Sister of Battle Naira Veyrath, who brings her own unique holy arsenal to the fray. With an array of devastating new weapons, destructible environments, and even more aggressive swarms of Nurgle and Tzeentch demons, it delivers the ultimate high-speed, heavy metal power fantasy. If you loved the first game's crunchy 90s FPS aesthetic, this sequel dials the action all the way up to 11. And that wraps up my second list of must-try game demos from Steam Next Fest. Which of these games are you putting onto your wish list? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.